with my bedhead and pajamas at 5:45 p.m. I have casted on the Kida sweater by Violent Cat Lady. It calls for Cloud Tweed and Cloud Orion, but I just wanted to knit it up in a solid color because the pattern structure, I guess you could call it, was exactly what I was looking for. The fit of the garment was what I was looking for. The style was what I was looking for. And the gauge was what I was looking for. Or no, no, I'm so sorry, not the gauge. We'll get there, we'll talk about that. Yarn was what I was looking for, basically. I wanted to knit a sweater that looked like a trout, and I really like how it's knitting up so far. I hope I don't end up liking the back more than the front. But the gauge was not really my favorite once I started knitting the pattern. I've already frogged this twice now, and this yarn, if you are familiar working with this yarn, it is not easy to frog. It's actually a super pain because its structure is just super woolly and pulley, and it gets caught on everything. It tangles with itself a lot. It's not easy to frog, so I'm kind of determined to really not frog this. A gauge swatch. I'm gonna try to find it. I can't find my gauge swatch right now, but I will find it and I will insert a video of it. But basically, it was just really airy, and it wasn't the look as tight as maybe the photos did. Maybe I have a looser way of knitting. I was also knitting it on shorties to begin with, and these are like a little bit longer, but when I knit the initial gauge swatch on 6mm needles, I was knitting on the shorties. That could have potentially affected my gauge. I mean, this one looks way bigger than this one anyway, but I just didn't love how loose and airy and how see-through the gauge swatch looked. It calls for 6mm needles, so I started knitting it in 5mm needles, and I sized up 2 sizes. So I'm knitting a size large because I was initially knitting a size small, but again, the problem was the gauge for me, and I just didn't love how the fabric was looking. But knit up on 5mm, I do like how it's not as see-through, it's not as airy, it's not, I don't know, I just can't explain it. This is my first knitting project, like real knitting project, besides like playing with yarn and just like knitting and seeing if I can get the motion down. So, let alone first knit garment. So I really dove into this, but I just really loved this yarn so much, and I needed a sweater knit up out of it. It's a new day. I promise I've changed, but I'm back in my pajamas. I've gotten a few more rows done the back of the sweater. I've reached my second orange stripe. I don't really know why it has some of these bigger gaps in it, like this. Hopefully that shows up. If anyone knows why that happens, please let me know, because like I said, this is like the first real thing that I'm knitting, but I am going to work on it today because I have some time. I ran some errands this morning. I went grocery shopping. I cleaned. So I'm going to sit back, maybe listen to an audiobook and knit. I think I dropped a stitch. Oh my god. Is that a drop stitch? It's totally a drop stitch. I don't even know how many rows back. And I've already mentioned how much of a pain in the butt this is to frog. And I have to frog like literally all of that. How do you fix that? What I thought was a tension issue is actually a dropped stitch issue. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 rows back. Okay, so I have regathered myself from losing my absolute mind. Tried to repair it by feeding the needles through and just frogging back the like 10 rows that I missed, but when I kept putting the needles through, the stitches in the next row below would drop, so I had to keep frogging, and keep pulling back. And I mentioned that this yarn is a pain to frog because as I was frogging it, literally at the neckline, like at the top of the back, the yarn decided to snap, and it's connected or like blown around this small tiny piece of thread. But yeah, so I guess I'm just gonna cut it, and like I don't even know what to do with this piece. Increases for the back panel, so now I just have to work stockinette flat for I think it was like 8 inches or 7.5 inches, basically until you reach the part where you connect for under the armhole. I'm happy with how the gauge is looking. I don't think it's as gappy as my gauge swatch was. I think that was due to the way I blocked it, because I really stretched her when I blocked it, like as much as it could go. So when I'm blocking the finished sweater, I think I might do just a little bit of a lighter block so it doesn't feel as airy or gapey as my gauge swatch did. So this is how I'm picking it up. Hopefully it's correct, but I will see how it goes by the end of the shoulder. Okay, I finally have an update. I have some progress. It is long enough. The front panel finally matches the back. I had to frog it multiple times again for more drop stitches, and it's definitely not perfect in a lot of areas, but I haven't tried it on yet. So this is the first time I'm gonna try it on, and I'm just so excited to be at this point. Hopefully my big head doesn't stretch this out. Oh no. I don't know how it looks. Seems to be a good fit. I'm so happy with the fit. Okay, the back looks like this. Ignore my pajama shirt. The back is on a shorter cord. I think this is only like an 8-inch cable or something like that. So that's why the back looks scrunched up like that. But I love how it looks. And with blocking, I know it's gonna stretch out. I've heard this yarn stretches out a ton when it's blocking too, so I do need to be very mindful of that. I'm still debating how I'm gonna block it, maybe a spray block, or just be very mindful as I do it. But this is the first try on, and I'm so happy, and I still haven't gone through a full ball of yarn. And I ordered this yarn from Wool & Co. online, and they were nice enough to give me this little like nipple piercing to use as a stitch marker. And I have not made it very far when connecting in the round, and the reason for that is because I put a piece of yarn through most of these loops. I missed a couple that I just marked with this stitch marker, and I have my needles only on the back panel now because as I was knitting in the round, the striping became very thin. Now I'm just gonna work in panels and then seam up the sides. And I have my armholes technically because I already have a couple rows that I actually did knit in the round, but I'm gonna continue working flat and just do like the back panel and the front panel, seam up the sides, because I think it will just make the striping a little bit nicer. The first sleeve is done. I'm kind of I'm stuck. The sleeve was a journey. It really was. I am having a really hard time mustering up the strength and courage to start on the second sleeve. I think tonight I'm just going to finish picking up for the second sleeve and maybe knit a couple rows, but I don't know how much I'll knit or even want to knit. I think a little bit of my frustration or like lack of excitement at this point too is due to me just, I guess, not understanding the pattern. And I've taken looks at many different knitting patterns, and I just have kind of looked into different methods of doing things, and the bottom of the sweatshirt, so the bottom hem calls for Jenny's surprisingly stretchy bind off, but following the pattern exactly, the neck hole and the armholes call for regular binding off. So when I've tried them on both times, they've kind of made it awkward, so I feel like I've stretched it a little bit, and my head has really struggled and pulled and stretched to get this through. And when I stuck my arm through the sleeve just to check, this happened, which I could fix up, which I'm not sure if you could see too well, but it's just kind of stretched out at the seam, so I can fix that with sewing with weaving in the ends a little bit, but then it definitely leaves like the tiniest armhole. I'm trying to knit it exactly how the pattern suggests because I am a beginner and because I don't want to stray too far away, but I followed the body for a small, but the sleeve holes, my gauge was right, I gauge swatched. The sleeve holes I ended up picking up for a double XL, which to me this just doesn't look like a double XL sleeve. I know this yarn stretches a lot though, so I don't want to talk pre-blocking it and seeing what it grows to look like, but following the body for a small, sleeve for a double XL, collar I think was a medium. Sleeve didn't give a pickup ratio for the stitches either. They just kind of tell you pick up X number of stitches, and it told me to only pick up 48 stitches for the sleeve, and if I only picked up 48 stitches for the sleeve, I binded this off with only 40 stitches, so 8 more stitches would be 2 more inches, so maybe my arm could have fit with a circumference of 2 more inches, but I don't know. I'm just probably gonna take a break for the rest of the night and then start this when I'm feeling a little bit less tired of working on the sleeves, because right now I'm kind of over it. Just finished it. I can't believe that it's finally done. The neck hole is way too small for my head, so I'm really hoping that it'll stretch a little bit once it's blocked, but this is what it looks like pre-blocking. I'm not even gonna try it on because every single time I've tried it on and forced it over my head, it's pulled like the stitches, and I just really don't want to mess it up anymore until it's done. But this is the back, this is the front. I'm so happy. My sink is clean. I don't have a fancy separate thing to block my knits, but so I'm just gonna do it in here, but it's fine. And yes, I'm just using shampoo. Uh-oh. You see how much of the dye is bleeding out? Just gonna let it do its thing. For 20 minutes. Wow, a lot of the color came out. Dang. Okay. That was a stank. Look at this. Whew. This thing stinks. Why is it so stinky? I'm just gonna do this on the bathroom floor. Okay, it is done. I'm so happy with how it turned out. It is very soft. I didn't expect it to feel this good against the skin. I thought it was going to be a little more scratchy just considering the structure of the yarn, but I really like how the orange looks on the edge of the drop shoulders and just overall the fit of it. It's my first sweater, so I know it's not perfect, but I'm gonna wear it so much because I love it so much. So a couple things with this pattern now that I'm done with it. Would I make it again? I would not follow the instructions. I did not follow the instructions. I love it. I can't wait to fish in it. It will bring me tons of luck and I'll catch lots of fish with it, but I wore it out today. It felt great. It's way too hot though, so I'm gonna take it off and put it in my chest with my knits, my vintage chest with my knits. I can't wait to finish knitting my next project. I cast it on as soon as this was like blocking because I couldn't wait. My next project is the Kyoto keyhole top made by Raj. I will post updates about it and post pictures on it if you want to check out my Instagram or my TikTok or anything, or you can subscribe and stick around if you would like. If anybody made it this far, thank you for watching. It's super sick. Who knows what I'll post next? I like to do a lot of things.